Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to this webinar, the digital red thread from PDF requirements to version controlled models in Enterprise Architect. So we will do this together with NANGA Systems, and I would like to use the first few minutes to introduce myself and LieberLieber. Most of you probably know us. We're an Austrian-based company. We are specialized in model-based software and systems engineering. We provide tools around modeling, infrastructure for modeling, data integration with Enterprise Architect. And yeah, basically, if you need an expert for modeling in MBSE, we're the first place to go. My name is Philipp Kalender. I'm responsible for consulting and training at LieberLieber. I have background in software engineering and IT consultancy, and work with Enterprise Architect and MBSE for more than 10 years. And if you want to know anything about the LieberLieber toolchain, Enterprise Architect, UML SysML, or what we offer in trainings and workshops, you can contact me. And I'm joined by Gerrit Neumann from NANGA Systems, who will do most of the part from the webinar. I will take care of the questions and moderation, and I will hand over to Gerrit. And yeah, thanks for being part of this webinar.
Thank you, Philip. Thanks for having me. Hello, everyone. My name is Gary from NANGA Systems. I also have some years of software engineering, process digitalization, and consultancy experience. I help organizations to transform their engineering process into digital solutions. As NANGA Systems, we try to implement this digital thread for you. So that means basically we transform your data process or tool silos into smart, interconnected systems or an interconnected network. Here's just a short list of our customers who trust in our solutions, but enough of the introduction slides. Let's directly dive into what we want to talk about today. So what we want to talk about is how we can establish a digital thread. So that means an interconnected network between a specific tool set here. And today we will start with probably the worst data format you can have if it comes to digitalization. It's PDF. I assume some of you who are in the situation of being a supplier and you receive PDF documents, it's always a pain because you cannot really extract the requirements from there easily in order to link it to further development artifacts. So this is a big pain point I see at many of our customers. Fortunately, there are solutions in place. One of the most modern solutions is the solution by Rycon, one of our partners. They provide an AI-based solution to basically extract the requirements from your PDF, transform them into the RecIF format, which is a standardized requirement and exchange format. We can then import this format into our requirements management system. In our case, we will use CodeBeamer by PTC. And it's not the end of the digital thread. Of course, the requirements needs to be converted into other artifacts. In our example, we will follow up with an MBSE approach. So we will use the LieberLieber LemonTree in order to import the requirements from CodeBeamer into Enterprise Architect. And we will use Git, a software version control system, in order to handle the versions of the Enterprise Architect models, but not only the versions, also the variants. And so we will create some specific variants. We will use SmartGit, also one of the market leaders if it comes to Git clients, in order to manage our variants. And at the end of the day, we will again use LemonTree to consolidate all our variants into one common platform-like approach. Good. Let's see how that works. We will start with the requirements. So I have prepared a requirements document. Give me a second. Here we go. Oops. No, it does not open. Give me a second. This is the requirements document. It's a Torch requirements document in a PDF format. I just used ChatGPT to create some generic requirements for me. So we see we have a company logo, we have a watermark here, we have the generic Torch requirements like some functional requirements, performance, usability, safety, and then we also have 3 variants we want to implement. One is a keychain variant, so which you can put on your key. One is a camping variant, which has this clamp here to hold. It has some, it's more robust, it's waterproof, IPX7 waterproof. And we have a tactical or military variant, which is a little bit different in terms of shock resistance, SOS blinking mode, etc. It also has a helmet mount. So just a simple example to start with. But as you can see, this is a PDF document as you might get it from your supplier. So what we can do with this PDF document normally, or what often happens, is that there is some people, whenever they receive an update of the PDF document, somebody has to go and copy, paste all the requirements into their requirements management system. So this is one approach. Others use some dedicated tools for that. I know there are some out there. They work more or less. None of them really reliable. But what I want to show you is how we can do that with the Raycon PDF importer. I just need to log in again. And the Raycon PDF importer allows us to upload a PDF document. So we could now select the Torch requirement specification. I have prepared that already because it takes some time to be processed. So I see we already have the Torch requirement specification here. And we can see it's now ready for review. That means the PDF importer has actually already processed it. And now we can do the review here. Let's click on review. And what we can see here is an outline. We have the NTRC Torch requirement. We have the generic requirements, etc. We have a keychain, a camping, and a tactical variant. So that looks not too bad. What I can see here, actually, the NANGA Systems logo is identified as a requirement. So this is probably something that is not correct here. But we have a level 1 requirement here. Maybe I can even zoom. Give me a second so they can more easily see it. Let's move to the next page. We again have the NANGA System logo here. This is a level 2 requirement with the images, etc., etc. So looks quite okay, I would say. Fortunately, and this is something many tools have problems with, the watermarks are identified properly. So it's not considering the watermark as sort of requirement or anything, but still we might have to adjust a little bit in order to get rid of this NANGA Systems logo. So what we can do now is we can start on the first page, and it tells us it has identified this one as an image. The pain with PDF is that there is no real structure in it. So there is a lot of objects flying around on the page, more or less, and it's not always that easy to identify what is metadata, what is, let's say, watermarks, etc. But in this case, we will say this NANGA Systems logo is something we want to ignore. We hit the ignore badge here on the left side, and I can also say propagate to all pages. This is properly identified as a heading 1. This is identified as heading 2, heading 3, 4 lines of text, etc. heading 3. So looks good, I would say. The footers are not considered as requirements, so we should be fine with that as well here. At the end of the day, when I'm done with tagging my requirements, I can hit the Save button. And I can then do the review and I can approve. As soon as their document is approved, I can export it into RecIF as I said, RecIF is a standardized data exchange format specifically for requirements. And I also have prepared this one. And what I could do in my requirements management system here is I can go to, oops, oh, I'm logged out. Okay, I need to log in once again. I can go to admin settings and then import, select this RecIF document and import it into my system. As I said, I have already imported it to save some time. We see the torch requirement specification here. So we see in the outline that it looks more or less like what we had. So we have these 4 generic sections here. We have the detailed variants. We have the keychain variants. We even have the images. We have the camping variant, and we also have the tactical and military variant. So when you're working in a requirements management system, it's often very hard to keep a consistent quality of the requirements. And of course, nowadays we also have our smart helpers. So I have also a smart helper by our partner Rikon installed in this case. So I can go to this Rikon AI button here, and I have prepared some requirements already. So for example, we have a requirement for the on-off switch. It says the torch shall have an on-off switch to control the illumination. What does the AI assistant tell us? It does not really say what is an on-off switch or how does the on-off switch work. Is it basically a type, or which type of switch should it be? Should it be a mechanical switch, an electronic switch, etc.? So you see, you really get this information and feedback. It also tries to classify your requirement. It shall find the appropriate level. It does also a weak word analysis. So if you use weak words like it could be red or it could be blue, of course the system would find that. We can also do some standard checks. In this case, we have 3 standards basically in the system, which is the normal or the NASA standard check, the INCOSE standard check, and we also have the Rikon internal, let's say, standard or best practice check. Let's see what the INCOSE standard says. Well, it says something about we should be able to verify this requirement, and so on and so forth. I think I have some more examples here. One-handed operation. Where is it? The one-handed operation. The torch shall be easy to operate with one hand. Of course, for everybody who comes from requirement, what is easy? So this is an easy catch probably, really. But you get the idea. So in case you have, let's say, people new to requirements management, you can really make sure you have a consistent set of requirements. And this is not, or by far not, the only thing this system can do. I can just give you a quick outline of 1 or 2 features. But one important thing I see at customers is a feature that Rikon calls requirement discovery. Assume the following use case. We get a new requirement specification. So I select now the project NANGA Systems torch, and we have our torch requirement specification, which we have just imported. I confirm that. And let's assume some years ago, we already have created a torch. So maybe there is something we can reuse from there. So I can select the lookup scope here, and I go again to the NANGA system torch, which is the same project, and we have a dive torch system requirements from some years ago. Let's confirm that and probably do the AI scan, but do a very broad search, not too strict, and also go for a moderate similarity and do a scan. And what the system tells us immediately from the requirements that we have received from our customer, we seem to have 3 requirements which match and 1 which is similar, while there is 35 where we have no match. So that means At the end of the day, we will have to implement the most of the part ourselves, but maybe we can reuse some of those here. So let's exclude those where we have no match. We see this customer requirements want to see an SOS blinking mode, and our diving torch also had an SOS mode here. We also want to have a non-slip grip, and we also have that. There is something says 2-meter shock resistance. The diving watch has a drop impact distance. So as you can see from wording, it's not exactly the same. It's just a similarity, but of course AI can identify that. So it says survive 1 meter drops or 1.5 meter drops onto concrete, etc. And this gives you the possibility to really quickly check requirements you receive from your customer, and if you can probably reuse some of your existing work products. Good. As I said, just a quick intro to what you can do with AI-assisted requirements management. Let's go back to our slide. So we have been at requirements. We transformed it into a regAF format here. We imported it into CodeBeamer, and the next step would then be to use LemonTree in order to import it into Enterprise Architect. So in Enterprise Architect, I already have a prepared very simple model with some behavior, some logical structure. Let's focus on the physical structure here. So this is basically our torch. The torch consists of a switch, a battery, a housing, and an LED. And we already see here we have an empty folder for requirements. So what we can do is we set up LemonTree. We can configure the connections. So in this case, we're connected to the Raycon demo environment. Here is my credentials, etc. Not that important. Oops. And no, I can go to specialize LemonTree connect for CodeBeamer, and I can say import from CodeBeamer. And you see the requirements are being processed. It will import 39 requirements. Let's continue here. Takes just a few seconds, usually. Okay, it's done. Okay, here's my Enterprise Architect. Okay, refresh. And what we can see here is the torch requirement specifications. We don't care about this one in here. So here you can see the requirements. And if we look at the specification manager, I think that hopefully looks familiar. These are our torch requirements. So what we will do in the next step is we will use Git to version control the model. That means we have now imported our requirements. Let's just make sure everything is saved. So I usually close the whole project to really be sure that everything is saved. And I use my favorite Git client here. This is SmartGit. And what I can do now, oops, what is that? Sorry for that. It has not identified my model changes as change. Give me a second. Open project. Specification. No, I don't want to change that. Requirements. Give me a second. I'll just close Enterprise Architect here. And let's open up this one again. No. This is the model. It's the changes. No, I don't want to do that. That's interesting. Sorry for that, live demo. As you can see, I'll just quickly try to fix that. Okay. Probably I'm working on the wrong model, or I have already committed the changes. This could also be. So maybe I'll just do a small change here. Physical structure, go here and just move that around, save it, and close the project. Very strange. Oh, yeah, I'm really connected to the wrong project. I just saw it. This is a demo project. Sorry for that. I need to open this one actually. That was the issue. So we have the changes here for it, and let's now see. I changed the physical structure. Sorry for that. That's something that I didn't want to show. So this is actually the physical structure, right? So and now we can see our torch QEAX has changed. So I was just working on the wrong project. It was the demo I did this year in April. So let's see what the history about this project says. It says we have one version. Master in Git is basically the branch name, as we call it. And we see we have one version. It says it's the initial version. And we have local changes. So let's show the local changes. Let's stage the changes. So this is something we have to do in Git. And let's commit it and let's create a new version. And we say this is requirements imported. Let's commit that. So as you can see, we have now a new version, says requirements imported. And what the next step could be is that we handle our variants. So let's go back to our client here. And let's say we want to start with the outdoor variant. And based on the master, we create a so-called branch. So a branch holds basically our variant of the model. And we can call it EDC _ variant. And now the system has created this EDC variant. And if we open the torch again, it should actually open our model in the EDC variant. So the physical structure is the same as before because, of course, we have not changed anything. The good thing is we have imported our requirements. So what we can do is basically go to the EDC variant and we can say, okay, the housing will fulfill the waterproof IPX7 requirements. So you can see the trace. I have not deleted it before, so it automatically created a trace for me. We have some 3 LED light sources here. So 3 LED light source is implemented by this block here. And yeah, let's say the grip is probably also related to the housing in our case. So let's create a trace here as well. I will not do all the linkages, but I think you get the idea. What I can do now is basically save this model. Again, I will close it, close the project, go back to my Git system, and I see, of course, the torch QEAX file has changed again. So let's create another version from them. I will stage it and create the new version, which I do with the EDC requirements traced. And I commit in order to create the new version. What does the version tree tell us? Here is the master. We have this EDC variant derived from this master version. So if I now go back to the master version, oops, sorry, here, go back to the master version. Okay. I'm not sure if that really worked now. Local changes. Local change, discard the changes. Oh no. Okay, I'm on master. Let's add another branch in order to create the military variant. So I will create the mil_variant. And what I need to do now is to recover the project, because I think I messed it up with this switching before. So I need to fetch this version basically from here. It's usually not that complicated. It's just really because I made a mistake here. Really a live demo effect. Sorry for that. It has locked my repository version, unfortunately. If you ask yourself what I'm doing on the other screen, meanwhile, I'm using the command line because I'm trying to fix something here. As you can see, Git is a command line tool, so usually many developers use it from a command line, but not everybody likes that. And so what I'm trying to do is a Git check mil variant. Okay, we are actually at the mil variant, and I can do a Git check .QEAX in the version of the other way around. Let's check it out by this commit version here. Then it's the other way around. Unlock failed. Should I try again? Oh dear. Why is that?
Maybe you can check if you might have it open in another EA instance. The unlink of the file message might be that it's still opened, and
that's I just saw that we have multiple EAs open.
Now you should be able
Thanks,
to.
Philip. Thanks, Philip. That was it.
Back.
That was it. Yeah, I accidentally opened another instance. Thanks so much. Let's open Enterprise Architect again. and also open SmartGit again. Okay, so here we go. We are now at the military variant finally. Let's open the project here. And let's go to the torch requirement specification, or let's go to our physical structure. We can see, since we are back to the master version, our EDC variant changes are not included here. So what we have here, we are here with the military variant. And let's now check which military variant requirements we have. So we have a waterproof IPX8 requirement for the housing. So this one is here. We also have the requirement for a helmet mount. So we see that the housing requires a helmet mount. This is this one here. And the helmet mount requirement actually is derived from, or the helmet mount block is derived from the helmet mount requirement, actually. So I think that's probably enough for this demo. Save that again, close it, and close the whole project. And now let's go back to SmartGit. We have again the changes in torch QEAX. And we can again create a new version, and we can say this is the mil requirements linked or traced. I think we used before. Let's create a commit here. And what we can see here, we have now the master variant, which is our basis for our development. We have the EDC variant here, and we have the military variant here. So, of course, usually if we branch off, this is usually fine. But in many cases, if you branch off, it is also required to consolidate everything back into one version, one library project, or however you call it. So to be really flexible, and if another project comes in, you can again derive from this version. So we have now created this two version. We have this fork here, and now we will use SmartGit and LemonTree in order to consolidate everything back into one version. So let's go back to SmartGit. We check out the master branch. So that means we switch to the master branch, to the base version. And into this base version, we first want to integrate our EDC variant. So the operation we have to do is a so-called merge operation. And that is really an easy operation for Git, because it's just, let's say, a natural evolution to move from one version to the next. The more complicated thing will come up with the so-called military variant. If we want to merge the military variant, there might be some conflicts. Let's see. If we do a merge here, we can say merge to working tree, and it tells us, oops, there is a conflict. So we have this red exclamation mark here. And typically, if developers use a version control system like Git, they have software files, they have source code files. Source code files are relatively easy to merge, but a QEAX file is a binary file, and binary files are usually not mergeable, except you have this little helper of LemonTree. So if we double click that here, the so-called conflict solver opens up. It just takes a while. And as conflict solver for enterprise architect files, we have configured LemonTree. Takes a while to start, and it should now bring up all the changes between, or the differences and also the conflicts, if any, between those two models. So let's see at this model. We have 9 differences in the physical structure here. So if we look at that, we can see there is a difference in the housing. So as you can see, this is not what I intended to show, because actually my base version had already some requirements linked here. You know, this is not a clean base version. I had requirements here. But what it's telling me that the physical structure, there is a difference in the housing. Okay, let's open this one up, and we see that there is a difference, and this difference is more or less the non-slip grip in this case. So this is the only difference we have at the moment in comparison to this base version. We see this is the version, the outdoor version with the IPX7 requirement. It has the non-slip grip. Here we have the military variant with the IPX8 requirements. The system, so LemonTree, proposes already the right thing in this case, because we said we want to consolidate everything into one. And of course, if we want to make it, many call it 150% model or something like that, where you really have all the features, not depending on which variant you have in your system. And here you can see this trace to the non-slip grip will be added. Here on the right side, you have the result. So it took the left version and not the one where the non-slip grip link is not there. So this is fine. And here we get the tip. Please review your changes and click merge and exit LemonTree. Okay, that looks good to me. Let's do merge and exit LemonTree. And we can now tell SmartGit to mark this conflict as resolved. And we will commit it now, so that will create another version for us. Let's commit here, commit as it is. And if we look at the history, you see we had the initial version here. We had the version where we had the requirements imported. Then we have this pink branch, which is basically the military variant. We have this brownish branch, which is the EDC variant. And basically both was merged together in the master branch, in our core product or in our library product. So what would happen if we now open the torch requirement again? It should actually give us a consolidated view of both the EDC variant and the military variant. Here we go, it's already open. So let's look here, the physical structure we wanted to look into, and that's basically the result. As you can see, the helmet mount was not on the one model while it was on the other, so we have some overlap. We might need to probably just re-lay out our model again, but here you can see we have the consolidated version. Everything is version controlled. We can go back to a previous version. We can also say we can derive from this military variant a whatever military variant 2 or something like that. So all this is provided just by using Git. Okay, that was it from my demo. Back to you, Philip.
Yes, thank you, Gerald. So yeah, it was very nice to see this full round trip, or digital red thread. So coming from the requirements, transforming into some usable form, because PDF is not, it's pretty common, but you cannot really refer to it and use it. And then importing it with LemonTree Connect, establishing traceability to the requirements, and then utilizing what is already used since many years and decades in software engineering, at least. So version controlling like Git for managing the different branches and variants using Git branches, and then merging this with SmartGit. So you've seen now an extensive workflow and an example. We have now some minutes for questions. So if you want to know something from us, feel free to write this into the question area in Zoom. We will summarize these questions and the answers and send it out to all attendees, and we will also publish a recording of this webinar. So stay tuned for this, and I will check some of the questions that we have. First question is, it was in the very beginning related to the Raycon part. So Gerald, where is the AI installed, and can it be installed on an own server, or does it run over an external server? So if it can run on the own server, what are the technical requirements then?
This is a really good question, because this is something I did not really capture. Of course, there is a lot of AI tools out there. Of course, you get also very good results, I would say, or the results at least look good if you use some generic AI like ChatGPT or so. So as you have seen, my initial document was also created by ChatGPT. But the important thing is really to have a dedicated and specially trained AI solution. And what Raycon does, and I think as far as I know, they are the only company who really does that, they provide a system which actually consists of about 20 models, which are all highly specialized to the specific task it is doing. And regarding the question, where does it run? There is two options. Either you buy it as a server at Raycon. So this is possible that Raycon basically hosts your system. The other option is, and this is probably the most important thing for most of the companies working in regulated industries, you can also run it on your premises. So that means, of course, you need hardware, you need graphics cards, etc. You could, of course, also use Microsoft Cloud or so. So this is also possible. Of course, it's like with all AIs, it's very computing intensive. So it requires some hardware.
Okay, thank you. Next question. Can requirements be created during the modeling process and synchronized back to CodeBeamer, or does this cause problems with the consistency of the requirements?
This is actually something LemonTree is designed in a way that you have to decide which system is the leading system. So I know this scenario very well. Sometimes people create requirements in the requirements management system. Others do that in the modeling system. If you merge it, you basically have to deal with conflicts. With LemonTree, you have to decide first which one is the leading system. So you can set up LemonTree in a way. Let's see. I think, can I set it up here? If I do the import here, oh no, it's already oh yeah, I can do. I can select the direction. So with the first sync, I say, is CodeBeamer in this case the leading system? Then I import from CodeBeamer. Or is Enterprise Architect in this case the leading system? Then I export to CodeBeamer. So there is only one way, and you have to decide when you do the first sync.
So I can also add to this. So we can basically import and export different items between CodeBeamer and Enterprise Architect. And what you define is the mapping. So it can be requirements that can be exported. They can also be imported, depends on your modeling workflow. The important rule is that an element or an item is only synchronized in one direction. So two-way synchronization for the same item should not be followed, because also in the way of maintaining this, it is not the best practice. But if you, for example, derive requirements in a more detailed way, you can, if they originate from Enterprise Architect, you can export them to CodeBeamer if you want. Okay, next question. Is Raycon AI compatible with Polarion?
That is in the pipeline. I have seen the roadmap. I can't tell you the exact timeline, but I've seen it in the roadmap. So it's not only Polarion. I've seen also Doors NG on the roadmap. So it's obviously coming for a lot of products. As far as I can see on the market, it's really by far the most advanced AI solution for requirements management. It's also supported, or it also supports Jira. So there's a lot of options. If you have any questions, feel free to follow up with us on this topic.
Okay, thank you. Next one is the LemonTree modeling versioning tool, a separate plugin from the one that allows us to interface between EA and CodeBeamer, and does it require a separate license? I will directly take this. Yes, it's two different tools. So LemonTree model versioning is a desktop application that comes along with an Enterprise Architect plugin for Git assistance within Enterprise Architect. This is what you've seen in Gary's demonstration that sometimes popped up for pulling an update. And LemonTree Connect is the tool for interfacing ALM systems with Enterprise Architect. So we support CodeBeamer, JAMA, and Polarion at the moment. It's two separate tools and two separate licenses. But yeah, you can contact us. We can create some bundles there. No problem.
Exactly. I can also add, also NANGA Systems has an integration to PTC, Windchill, RDNS. If this is of interest for you, we can also follow up on that.
Okay, let me check. We still got some time left for answering. Can Raycon be used directly from EA via an API rather than via CodeBeamer, or are other PLMs supported, for example, Polarion, etc.? It kind of overlaps with the previous question.
I think I've seen that on the roadmap as well, that something in this direction is coming. So EA support. I cannot tell you for sure, but I think I remember that I've seen something like that. For sure, Raycon has an API and can be used with API, that I can say for sure. I cannot really tell you when or if I remember correctly that the EA connector is planned. But let me just, if you have a question, just send me an email. I'll double check that for you, and we can definitely follow up here.
Okay, the next one, can one meaningful handle variants without merging to a 150% model, for example, on different branches in Git? And how would one do common updates to all branches, as EA model consists only of a single EAPX file?
I think you need to give me the question again.
So basically, I have it on the screen so I can read it. So if you want to merge variants without merging to a 150% model, so you merged it back into the base model. So I understand it as keeping separate branch models still intact in Git, and if you do common updates to the branches. So I can take this one if you want. So you can stay in the different variant branches, and Git offers an operation called a rebase, which is basically staying in a branch and then pulling the updates from where you originated from. Rebase or merging, it's different. It produces the same result, but has an effect on the Git history. In that case, I would recommend doing a rebase. So rebasing the variant branch onto the main, so the base, and then you can pull certain changes from the base into the branch. And if you do a visual merge, then you even have the control of what you pull, and maybe not do an auto merge to pull everything automatically. Then you have better control of what to integrate from the base into the variant branch. Okay, then next one. Can the PDF import preserve requirement IDs present in the PDF in order to track requirement versions?
Unfortunately, not at the moment.
Okay. And then it's follow-up questions. It's from the same attendee. Can the PDF import handle 2 parallel languages in a document?
That is possible, yes. So this is
Okay,
in general something that I have not shown, but this is also, if you work in your requirements management system, it can instantly translate it to different languages, and it's not just the obvious ones like English, German, French, etc. So it's really also some, let's say, Japanese languages, Chinese, etc. So also that is implemented and counts for free with the license for the Raycon AI.
Okay, and then also a follow-up question to this: does the PDF import detect strike-through text correctly as a strike-through? So I'm guessing that if some requirement is marked as obsolete, I would assume, or interpret that you don't need it, that this is taken over once you import it.
Honestly, I have not checked yet. So this is something we can definitely try out. So the Raycon AI basically can be accessed freely. Just give me a hint, send me an email, and we can arrange something.
Yeah, so this fits to a different to another question. Is it possible to test Raycon in a test phase?
Yes, that's
Was it
possible.
mentioned?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. So still a few questions popping in, which is very nice. If you are working in a branch, can the requirements in the branch be exported to a different CodeBeamer project for reuse purposes?
Yes, that should
Yes.
be possible, yeah.
Yeah, of course. So you can change the mapping where you export to. So usually the mapping for importing and exporting is based on packages in Enterprise Architect and trackers in CodeBeamer. And if you somehow need to change this alignment, that's possible with the mapping configuration. What you should keep in mind is that we use IDs for synchronization. For Enterprise Architect exports, we use the Enterprise Architect Global Unique ID. So there could be and I wouldn't say mismatch, but if it's existing in one project, you can still have it in a different project, but the synchronization is done with this GUID. So this you have to keep in mind when you duplicate the data, but basically it's possible to change the configuration to point to other trackers or projects if you want. Okay, then we have, do you have trials available for the LemonTree model versioning? Yes, I can answer this, of course. It's possible to try it out. You can download the tool and get a trial license, and it's not limited in functionality, it's just time bombed, so you can try it in the full feature mode. Just give us yeah, a notification via mail, and we will be happy to send out some test version for you. And so we arrive at the last question so far. How do we establish bidirectional traceability between requirements and design? Is there an export option from EA to CodeBeamer to export the design element traces back to CodeBeamer? Yes, that is possible. And this is the whole reason why we developed this tool, not just to synchronize data and copy data from CodeBeamer to EE and vice versa. It's to establish the traceability links because you want to link requirements and design with traces, because certain norms, standards, or process models, they require this, that you establish bidirectional traceability. So you import the requirements, you derive system architecture, or sometimes you already have it, and then you create traces. You export the architecture back to CodeBeamer, including the elements, architecture diagrams, and the links to the requirements that have been imported from CodeBeamer. And those links will be also visualized in CodeBeamer, for example, with reference fields. So you can look in both tools. You will see the traceabilities on both sides between the requirement and the design. Okay, seems like no more questions popping up. So thank you very much for the attendance and for all the interesting questions. Yeah, thank you, Gerard, for your presentation. It was very nice to watch. And yeah, as I mentioned, we will send out the recording of this webinar and also the questions with answers. And yeah, thank you for the attendance and have a nice rest of your day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.